welcome back to my channel, and today we are doing something a little bit different, as you can see. First of all, I just want to apologize ahead of time if the lighting or the sound is a little bit weird, because I'm in a different room than usual, and my mic that I use is a lapel mic, so I have to be sitting close to the mic or the camera to be able to use it, and it won't reach this far, so we're going with it. But today we are going to be doing a book unhaul / bookshelf declutter video, depending on what community you're coming here from. This is a popular kind of video in the booktube community to do a book unhaul, and it's also a popular type of video in the minimalist community to do a decluttering video, so I'm not sure what to call this. But basically, I am very fond of minimalism, and except pillows. Pillows, they're never going away, okay? I'm gonna have a million pillows forever, just don't question it. But aside from that, I do really enjoy living more of a minimalist lifestyle, and lately I've been watching the new Netflix show of Marie Kondo's Tidying Up, and I'm really enjoying that, and I yesterday did a decluttering of all my clothes again for the millionth time. And today I decided I wanted to do a decluttering of my books, and I figured I would film it since I didn't really know what I was going to be making this week anyway, so this is it. Welcome. I took a little clip of my before shot of my bookshelf and then the books I have in here in my bedroom closet, so I will insert those here. Alright, so this is a before shot of my bookshelf. First, my awesome Guardians of the Galaxy poster, one of my favorites, and the light is glaring, but that's alright. You get the gist. So this is my bookshelf. As you can see, I already don't have a ton of books, but it used to be more like each shelf was just one line of things, and now we've got a couple books up there, stuffed up there, and then down here we have that whole stack going all the way to the top, so we'll see what that will look like afterwards. And then up here we have some more books. This is the top of my closet. Over there just has some memory boxes, and then a bunch more books, so we'll see what all this looks like after the declutter. And now we will get on with the decluttering. So here we go. Wow, this is a lot of books. Okay, this is gonna be a project. Alright, so these are all of the books I own, and we're gonna go through them. I think I'm gonna start by just picking out all the books that I absolutely know that I want to keep because I read them a lot, or I'm sure that I'm gonna read them a lot in the future because I just love them. So that would be the Twilight series, the Hunger Games series, my own book, obviously, Jenna Maresci's The Savior's Champion, and maybe Paper Towns. I'm kind of waffling on this one. I do remember when I first read this book though, I remember declaring it my favorite book of all time, and his writing style just blew my mind. So I think I am going to keep this one because I'm pretty sure I'm at least going to read it once more, if not probably quite a few more times. By the way, I should say that my kind of standard for what books I want to keep, I really prefer to only keep books if I know that I'm going to want to read them many more times. So things like The Hunger Games and Twilight, those are book series that I've already read at least twice, if not more than twice, and I know that I'm gonna want to read them again at some point in life because I just love them, and they're easy ones for me to grab. It's like a comfort thing that I just know I'm gonna read them many more times. But if I do decide to get rid of some of these books, it doesn't mean that I don't like them or that I don't want to read them. It's just that either I've read them once and I'm not really sure if or when I'm ever gonna read them again, or maybe I haven't read them but I don't know when I'm even gonna get around to reading them, in which case I'm probably gonna just get rid of it because I'm gonna be donating all of these to the library anyway, so that way I can borrow them in the future if I want to read them, but I don't have to have them in my house. And I changed the camera angle again because this is a process. Sorry for that like crazy beam of light right here. It's not a ghost, I promise. It's just the sun. Alright, so now that I've set aside the series of books that I know for sure I want to keep without question, we're gonna move on to just going through them one at a time and deciding if I want to keep them or not. So here we go. I'm gonna start with fiction because I think that'll be easiest, I guess. Alright, so from this side of the pile, I have all of these are ones that I'm gonna be getting rid of. Again, not because I'm not interested in them, but just because I don't have any immediate plans to read these, and I know I want to read them at some point, but I don't really feel like I need to own them. I can just borrow them when I need to. So to go through these really quick, I am getting rid of Kiss by Ted Dekker, The Maze Runner by James Dashner, which I have not read yet, but this is the only book in the series that I have, and it's a popular enough one that I know I'll be able to find it somewhere if I want to read it in the future. In the Woods by Tana French, Love, Hate, and Other Filters by Samira Ahmed, The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold? Who knows? Well, she probably does. Oh geez, I thought Sebold was a difficult one. Okay, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. We'll go with it. And Invisible by David Levithan, and Andrea Kramer. That's how I'm gonna say those names. It's probably wrong, but who cares? So all of those are books that I picked up at probably either libraries or, yard sales or library book sales, or they were given to me, and I haven't read any of them yet. The only one of those I'm kind of wavering on is The Perks of Being a Wallflower because I adored this movie. So if I do read the book and I really love it, then I could see this being one that I might actually want to own. So I think I'm going to take that one back, actually. I'm going to keep this one because if I like the book as much as I liked the movie, then I probably will end up reading it many times. So I'm going to keep this one. And then the other books from this side of the pile that are fiction, I'm kind of unsure about, so I'm just going to go through them. We have Water for Elephants, 13 Reasons Why, The Girl on the Train, and I Like Him, He Likes Her. Now, I think I've decided officially I'm going to get rid of this one because it's not even the first book in the series and I haven't read any of these, so I picked it up at a yard sale and I asked the person who was selling it, like, do you think I'd need to read the other ones first? And they said probably not. So I was gonna give it a shot, but oh, there's a bookmark in here. I don't want to give that away. So I guess I did give it a shot for a minute here, but it's just like I know I want to try to read these books at some point, but I don't have any immediate plans to. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of it. Now, Water for Elephants is another one that I really, really loved the movie. And I also just love this book. I think it's like really, really beautiful. So I kind of think I want to keep it. Partially just because it's really pretty, but also I know I'm going to read it at some point. I just haven't been in the mood for that kind of story lately. And kind of like The Perks of Being a Wallflower, it's one of those that I think if I like it as much as I liked the movie, then I might actually want to read it many times. So I'm going to keep that one for now. Now these other two, 13 Reasons Why and The Girl on the Train, are ones that I have already read, and I did really like them. But I'm not really sure if they're going to be ones that I'm going to read like over and over and over. I definitely want to read 13 Reasons Why again sometime soon, because I have only read it once, I think, like a long time ago. But I just don't know. I think I probably will keep this one because I know I'm gonna read it again at least once. And then I guess I can decide after that, after I read it again, I can decide if I want to keep it or donate it. So this will be at least a temporary keep. And then The Girl on the Train is tough because I really loved this book, but I kind of can't really see myself reading it again. So I guess I'm gonna get rid of it. It's another one though that I just like because it's pretty and it like feels nice, which I know is silly. I mean, I'm not gonna just pick it up and touch it every once in a while. It's just gonna sit on my shelf. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and donate this one, and if I ever want to read it again, I'll just pick it up from the library. Alright, I'm gonna move this big stack over here because these are also non-fiction, so we'll get to that in a second. And my leg is falling asleep, which is why I no longer film videos sitting down like this, because that's really uncomfortable. Alright, let's go. Alright, so I'm gonna have to look through my Sarah Dessen collection, which is quite extensive, individually, because Sarah Dessen is one of those authors that I definitely read her books multiple times. They're ones that it's kind of like if I just feel like reading some fluffy romance but I don't really know what I want to read, I just want to read something, I'll pick up one of her books. So there are definitely a lot of these that I want to keep, but some of them I kind of picked up because it was like, oh, it's Sarah Dessen, I'm gonna love it. But then I either didn't really love it as much, or I haven't even read it yet because I kind of started reading it and realized it wasn't really for me. So I think I'm gonna put those ones in the discard pile and put everything else in the keep pile. Okay, so as I predicted, the Sarah Dessen books that I'm going to be getting rid of are these three kind of shorter ones. I think these are a little bit, not necessarily for a younger audience, but they don't seem to be super centered on romance, which is really what I read Sarah Dessen for, is the romance. So I'm going to be getting rid of them. I might read them at some point, but I don't feel the need to keep them. So Someone Like You, That Summer, and Keeping the Moon. These are all books that I've had for, I'm pretty sure, quite a while, and I still haven't read them, so I'm gonna get rid of them. But then this whole pile here I'm gonna be keeping because I love Sarah Dessen. I've read all of these. I'm just throwing them now. Yeah, I think I've actually read all of these now, but I really liked them all, and I'm probably gonna read them many more times, so we're gonna keep them. Alright, so now that I've gotten through Sarah Dessen, which for me is kind of like a category in itself, I'm gonna move on to the rest of the fiction on this side of the bed in this glowing bright circle of sun. So for the rest of the fiction, we're going to be getting rid of When It Happens by Suzanne Colasanti and Divergent by Veronica Roth. I haven't read Divergent yet, but again, same with Maze Runner. This is the only one in the series that I own, and I'm not really interested in reading it right now, so it's one of those that I'm sure I'll be able to find at the library if I decide to pick it up. And then When It Happens, I have read and I enjoyed it, but not really as much as like Sarah Dessen's kind of fluffy teen romances. So if I'm in the mood for a teen romance, I'm probably not gonna pick this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss it. Well, not toss it. I'm gonna bring it to the library, obviously. I'm gonna just throw these away. And then I'm gonna be keeping Waiting for You by Suzanne Colasanti because I do remember really liking this book, and it's been such a long time that I don't really remember it very well, and I think that'll make it really fun to go back and read again, because I don't remember everything that happens. I'm also at least temporarily keeping Gone Girl because I'm currently reading this, and it's amazing. I probably will get rid of it afterward because I don't think it's one I'm gonna want to like reread a bunch, but it's really been an amazing experience so far. I wish I had more time to read these days because I haven't gotten very far, but yeah, I'm keeping this for now at least since I'm in the middle of reading it. Then we have Dead Connection by Charlie Price. This is one that I struggle with because I started reading this a long time ago and I didn't really enjoy it very much. But the thing is, Charlie Price is a local author, and he really like supported me a lot in my writing. I entered a writing competition when I was like 15, I think, and I won, and he was one of the judges, and he was already a successful author at that point, and so I've spoken to him personally. He encouraged me in my writing. I got to hear him read my story out loud that won the competition, which was really cool. And I've been to some of his writing conferences. He also signed this book for me, which I actually tore out the page because previously I thought I was going to get rid of the book, but of course I wanted to keep the inscription, so I just tore out that page and put it in my memory box, so if I ever do get rid of the book, I'll at least get to keep that page. So I struggle with it because I don't think it's necessarily my kind of story, but I also kind of just want to read it to like support local authors and this person that I've actually met, and so I do want to actually read this someday, and I think it's one of those that if I get rid of it, I might just kind of forget to ever read it. So I'm gonna at least keep it until I read it, and then after I read it I can decide if I want to pass it along to the library or not. Next one we have is The Boys Are Back in Town by, who wrote this? Christopher Golden. This is one that kind of has fun memories for me, I guess. I remember reading like, I don't know how much of it. I didn't finish it, but I brought this on a camping trip one time, and it was like kind of one of the first times I wasn't a huge reader back then, and I definitely never read stories like this. This is kind of like a suspense, like horror kind of thing. It's not horror really, it's suspense. And it was surprisingly interesting. It was kind of one of those stories that I picked up to expand my horizons, and I ended up really enjoying it, but then I never finished it. So I want to at least finish it, and it kind of holds special memories for me, so I think I'm gonna keep it, at least for now, finish it someday, and I might keep it just for the memories, or I might get rid of it after I read it. And the next one I have is The Time Traveler's Wife, and this book I have not read yet, but I just bought it recently at Goodwill, and it definitely sounds like something I'm going to love. It sounds like right up my alley, so I'm really excited to read this someday, and I think if I do enjoy it, which I think I will, it might be one that I'll want to read multiple times. So now I'm going to take a break, stretch my legs a little bit, and set aside the books that I've decided on already, if I'm keeping or getting rid of, kind of reorganize some stuff, so I'll get back to you. Alright, we are back. I've got my books that I'm keeping over there on the floor and my books that I'm not keeping over there, and I kind of separated these piles into like religious nonfiction and then non-religious nonfiction, and then whatever this pile is, which is just like bigger, oddly shaped books. So I also closed the window because it was getting way too bright in here. So we're gonna start with this pile because it's kind of miscellaneous stuff. So this is a book of guitar chords, which I think I'm gonna keep, even though obviously you can find that stuff online, but I do find it helpful to look at things on paper for stuff like that. Doctor Who comics, definitely a keep. So I got this magazine. I work for an office doing cleaning, and they have magazines all the time, and once they're done with it, they just throw them away. So I asked if I could keep this one because it's got my boys on it. Yay! I haven't actually read any of the stuff in it, like, about Supernatural, but I think I kind of want to keep it anyway. I'm just going to keep it with my Doctor Who comics. So I bought this book at Barnes & Noble a while ago because I just wanted to have it. It was one of my favorite books as a kid. It's called Just Shopping with Mom by Mercer Mayer. And yeah, I loved these books as a kid. My dad actually still calls me Critter because of the little Critter books. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping this. My ASL course book, I'm keeping that. Filmmaking for Dummies, I'm definitely keeping because this is one of those books that whenever I do end up reading it, I'm probably going to take a lot of notes and highlight and stuff like that, so I want to like actually own this book. Definitely keeping this book. This is an amazing book. Anyone out there, if you're interested in a career in film, but you're not really sure exactly what you want to do, I bought this book and it is so cool. It's called 100 Careers in Film and Television by, well, I'm not even going to try that name, but 100 Careers in Film and Television, and it is so interesting just hearing all the different types of jobs you can get in film and television. I had no idea. I mean, you know, you sort of realize at the end of movie credits and stuff, they're so long, there's so many names, so many different positions people work on in film, but this is just a really extensive look at so many different positions that you never knew existed and exactly what they do and how to like get into that job and what kind of experience you need to have and like how to start out if you want to start pursuing that career, like what's the first step you should take and the kind of like basic stuff you should learn first. And yeah, it's just really, really interesting book, so I'm definitely keeping that. This is called Marriage on the Rock Couples Discussion Guide, which I'm assuming means it goes along with a book called Marriage on the Rock, but I don't think I have that book. But I'm going to keep this anyway because it has some interesting discussion questions in here. I have a feeling I'm going to have a hard time getting rid of any of the marriage-related books I have because I think we'll read them someday. So yeah, I'm going to keep this. Okay, and the rest of these are all like memory things. Like these are from our premarital counseling, Before I Say I Do, Before You Say I Do. And then there's like 4 Pillars of a Christian Marriage, which is a series we went through. And these have all our answers in it and stuff from when we went through it before we got married. So I'm definitely keeping those. And then these are my high school yearbooks. So I'm keeping those for sure. Alright, so I think now I'm going to go on to the non-religious nonfiction pile. So as expected, I'm not really getting rid of any of these. Well, I'm getting rid of this one. It's called They Say I Say, The Moves That Matter in Academic Writing. I think I always thought that this said the movies that matter in academic writing. So that is definitely different than I thought this was going to be. It's basically like a workbook sort of like learning how to write academically, which isn't really something I need anymore at this stage of my life. So I'm gonna get rid of it. It feels so nice though. It's one of those that feels kind of like waxy and soft. Beautiful. And then the rest of these I'm going to keep because I have such a hard time getting rid of nonfiction books. I just feel like, well, I'm gonna read it sometime, and I don't know. I might never read them, but here we go. These two books I just got for Christmas. Well, there it goes. I just got these for Christmas from a friend. They are Screenplay, The Foundations of Screenwriting by Sid Field, and the Screenwriter's Workbook, Exercises and Step-by-Step Instructions for Creating a Successful Screenplay. So I am absolutely going to read these at some point because I've really been wanting to try screenwriting. I've never written a script before, and or a screenplay, and yeah, I've just always wanted to try it, but I've felt a little bit lost in where to get started. So these will be really interesting. I don't have time to read them right now, but I'm very, very excited about that. So thank you, Trent, for sending them to me. Next, we have The Magnolia Story by Chip and Joanna Gaines, which I'm absolutely keeping. I read like about maybe half of this book at one point. I have like 2 bookmarks in here, so I'm confused about that. I'll take them out. But I remember when I did read the half of it that I read, I absolutely loved this book, and I really want to finish it sometime when I have the time. So I'm definitely keeping this. It's also just a really beautiful book, so that's another incentive to keep it. And my legs are falling asleep still. Okay, I'm gonna keep them out for a minute. Next, we have Family Don't End with Blood, cast and fans on how supernatural has changed lives. I definitely want to read this at some point. My husband got it for me for Christmas last year, and I still haven't read it, but it is absolutely something I want to read, so I'm not getting rid of that. Same with this one, John Winchester's Journal. From Supernatural. That's another one I want to read at some point. That'll just be a fun thing. This might be one that I'll get rid of after I read it. Like, I don't know if I'll want to necessarily keep it forever, but I definitely want to read it sometime. Oh my gosh, my legs. Ugh, I'll just do it from here. Next, we have Doctor Who. Alright, I moved a bit because my legs are officially, like, dying, and they're just gonna be asleep forever if I don't start doing something else. So, next we have this, Whoology book about Doctor Who, and again, it's one of those that, like, I don't know if I'll necessarily, like, sit down and read the whole thing, but it's really interesting, and I do want to read it at some point. Also, it's a little bit too sophisticated, I think, for my nephew at this point, but my nephew freaking loves stuff like this, so I'm definitely not getting rid of this. I'm gonna keep it, read it myself, and then maybe when he gets a little older, I'll pass it along to him or something, because he would love this. Then we have Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick, which I also still have not read because I just have such a hard time getting around to, non-fiction books, because when I have time to read, I usually want to read a fiction book. So non-fiction is definitely something I like to utilize audiobooks for, because then I can experience them a little quicker and while I'm like doing something else. So I might listen to the audiobook for this, and if I do, then I might get rid of the physical copy, but I don't know yet. Because I do just really like it. It's another one that's just really nice and pretty. I did get this as a gift, so it is brand new, which a lot of my books are not new because I get them at yard sales and stuff, so it's a little easier to get rid of them if I'm like meh about it. But when I have like a nice, beautiful new book, it's kind of hard to want to get rid of it. So we're keeping it for now. Next, I have Child Free and Loving It by Nikki DeFago, however you say that. This is a book I picked up at the library book sale, and I haven't read it yet, so I can't say whether or not I would recommend it. I will say the back of the book is a little harsh in my opinion. So, but it was just something I wanted to explore because I'm kind of not sure if I want to have kids, and it's something that I think isn't talked about a whole lot. Like, it's kind of, for many, many years, been expected that women will have children, and that's just what you do. Or not just women, like people in general. You get married and you grow up. Other way around. You grow up, you get married, you have kids, and I don't know if that's what God has in store for my life. So I figured it would be interesting to hear someone's perspective on what they think about living a child-free life. It's kind of a weird way to say that, I think, but you get me. You get my drift. Alright, so we're on to the last category, which is religious nonfiction. I have a feeling I'm not going to be getting rid of many of these, so I'm going to go through them kind of quickly. Alright, so as predicted, all of those books just moved from their piles over to the keep pile because I want to read them all at some point, so I'm just going to go through them super quick. We have Heaven is for Real by Todd Burpo, Loved Back to Life by Sheila Walsh. Sheila Walsh is an amazing person, by the way. She has such a powerful story. I would highly recommend this book. I haven't read all of it yet, but I know some of her story, and it's pretty powerful stuff. Then we have For the Love by Jen Hatmaker, which is an incredible book. I adore it. I actually bought this copy to give to a friend, and I haven't given it to them yet, so I will be doing that soon. Strengthening Your Marriage by Wayne Mack. I got this at a library book sale. I liked that it had a lot of biblical references to what he was saying instead of just spouting out his own opinion, so that was good. This is the workbook for a series called Re-engage that my church just did, and my husband and I went through it. It was such an incredible series. If anyone out there is a Christian couple looking for some marital just reconnecting, it says reconnect, reignite, resurrect, re-engage. It was a really great series, but it's a series that only works through churches. You can't just buy this book. You have to actually go through the program through a church. So check it out if any local churches in your area have the Re-engage program. It was really awesome. Then we have The 5 Love Languages, Experiencing God Youth Edition, which is one I went through as a teen, and I have all of my responses to all the questions and stuff. Oh, and a bookmark. What's that? Neat. And then we have the Experiencing God Adult Edition. Now that I'm all grown up, I guess I can read that one. A little booklet on End Times by R. Paul Stevens. That could be interesting. The Power of a Praying Wife. This is all these books are just glaring off the light. Maybe I shouldn't have put that light right there. I don't know. You got it. We have The Purpose-Driven Life, Don't Check Your Brains at the Door, Intended for Pleasure and Sacred Sex. This, by the way, is a really good book. We read this, we were given this book when we first got married, so it was very informative. Devotions for Couples, Openness Unhindered, which this I am very interested in, but I just never got around to reading it. It's about a woman who, basically it's about homosexuality and what the Bible says about it, and from the perspective of someone who has experience in that department. So I wanted to see what they had to say. Money, Possessions, and Eternity, which I've been told is a really great book. This is kind of next on my list as far as nonfiction goes. I really want to read this. Moments Together for Couples, little daily devotion things. 1 Year Chronological Bible. Honestly, I would be fine with getting rid of this because I have my own other Bible and my husband has his own other Bible, but I don't think he would want to get rid of it anyway, and I guess it could be cool to have a chronological version. It also has it separated into daily readings, which is kind of nice. If you wanted to read the whole Bible in a year or something, then you could do that easily with this. So that's cool. Screwtape Letters, which I've been dying to read. Then we have Sacred Marriage, and then a little work booklet that goes with the Sacred Marriage book. Answering Islam, which is a book about, well, it's written from the perspective of, where's the thing? There's nothing. Oh, okay, there we go. Answering Islam evaluates the claims of Orthodox Islam and examines the evidence for the Christian counterclaim, preparing you with strong apologetic answers. This is a book I bought when I had a Muslim friend who I'm not really friends with anymore. Not because they're Muslim or anything, that's not why. We were really great friends and we had lots of good conversations about religion, so I partially bought this to kind of read and discuss with him, and it didn't really work out very well for unrelated reasons, but I do still want to read the book at some point. And then this is just another Bible. It's a King James version. It's actually really beautiful. It's like all embossed with like, I don't know what to call it, like paisley, I guess, and it has like, the spine is really pretty. It's got like a tree. It's a King James version, which I don't usually read. It's got like the shiny pages. Oh, it has illustrations. I forgot about that. Wow. I don't usually read King James version, but I wanted to have it. I bought it because I thought it would be kind of fun to read it, almost like poetry, sort of. Like it's just a different experience than reading like a NIV version. So yeah, I'm keeping that. So that is it for this portion of the video. I'm gonna go put all my books back and organize them, and we'll see what the shelves look like. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I didn't really get rid of a ton of books, honestly, but I don't really have that many books to begin with, especially compared to like most average booktubers. So this has been fun though, going through everything, making sure that what I have for a reason. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye!